talking about building hot rods here. We're not talking about sugarcoating. We're talking about everything. Knuckle busting. The rust in your fucking eyes. We're talking about building fucking hot rods. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with another episode of It's All About the Build. We have some special guests today.
Yes, we do.
In the studio, I guess we'll call it.
This is a good-looking studio.
This is a damn good-looking studio.
Yeah, cat stuff.
And
we has charm to it.
Yes.
Cat charm.
Yes.
Farm charm.
That's right. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we'll bring in Randy. Randy's here, as always. Everybody say hello. Randy.
Nobody said hello.
Hi, Randy.
Oh, hey, what's up, guys? What's up?
Here's Randy. And we have finally on the show, we have my wife finally making her first appearance.
And Buffalo Pete.
And Buffalo Pete. If nobody knows about Pete, he has been involved with I.B.F.HotRods in the back end.
Since yesterday.
Way in the back end. Hey-oh, ladies and gentlemen.
We don't want to start making back end jokes.
That's right. So we have a new, we got a new setup. So you're going to hear some new noises, some new sounds, and hopefully our vocal structure are going to be a little bit more clear.
So give us some input if you like what you hear, with the changes and everything. Maybe, give us some pointers if you can. Yeah, like that.
Yes, but give us some good ones, right? Anyways, back to what's going down. We're interviewing Pete and bringing Melanie along for the ride. Like I said, thank God we're finally able to bring her in. But
I've been here all along.
Yes, she's been here all along, but she just she's been waiting for the right moment, and right now is the right moment. Pete Wagner, or like my wife likes to call Pete Wagner, is in the house. Surprise. And we're bringing them in. We're bringing Pete in, and we're bringing my wife in because they for the last, how many years you guys been building modern vehicles?
For me, it's been 25.
What about you, Pete?
What am I, 11 now, I think?
Right. So between the two of you, it's been decades.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Laramie's
in the house still. But yeah, so we're going to get a perspective today on that side of the field because, not a lot of people talk about that. A lot of not.
Oh, they talk about it, just not in a good way.
Right. But nobody really knows their side of the story when it comes to anything, really, I guess.
How often does it actually, like the inside, behind the scenes, how often does that actually get out into the open? Like, as far as like...
-4.
Okay.
Right.
Roger.
I mean, usually the only thing you're hearing is the news when it comes to like time for them to get bonuses or something like that. That's
Which is all about negativity perspective on us.
Right. That or like if they have to go on strike.
The only thing that hits the news is time off, bonuses, or strikes.
Well, I'm sure you got the occasional like YouTube channel, right?
No.
Nothing?
No, I don't think. I've never seen anything like, because isn't a lot of it like nobody can come in and just like video anything?
No.
Well, there's no video policy at the plant.
Not allowed to use your cameras.
Yeah. Like, for me to take a picture in the plant is technically wrong.
Right.
But yet, I mean, they have cameras in there filming this, that, whatever for their needs.
Right. But like nobody, do you guys have visitors that come in? Like, is there like, I'm assuming I've seen assembly line stuff where there's like a yellow walkway that like civilians are allowed to walk down.
That's where we walk.
Yeah, it's very rare. I mean, it happens.
It's a visitor. No.
But nobody's allowed to like.
They have family day.
They don't do tours or anything?
They do, okay. Which we had one.
But it's
limited.
Yeah,
they don't show you everything.
Right. The people that are coming in they know somebody inside.
Yeah, it's family.
And it's not a news crew.
Right.
which, I mean, I don't even know the news crews around it, but it's not Channel 17 coming in
Right.
and saying, hey, we want to look around. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
There's a pre-planned event with a pre-planned walk, and this is what you're going to see, and this is what we're not going to show you.
Which is limited.
Right.
Yeah. So, that being said, this is what we're bringing to this episode today. But a lot of it's going to be introduction into my wife and how she came about to be part of I.B.F.HotRods and being a co-founder of this badass fucking company. And also how Pete came about being part of this crazy world. I mean, he's not on the fucking payroll by any means, but he has,
should be.
should be. He at least takes care of the cats when we're doing shit.
Because I kept nudging him across the assembly line.
Right. Yeah. The nutchin.
Goddamn.
So wait, are we going to talk about this later, like how they met?
No. Well, I'm trying to get to that right
Oh, okay,
now.
okay.
Hey, we're trying to get there. But, so yeah, I guess that brings us to the first topic at hand. I guess we'll start with Pete because pretty much we know how Melanie got involved. Not her side of the story, but you've heard my side of the story. We're going to do Pete first, then we're going to bring Melanie in. So Pete, how did you get involved with I.B.F.HotRods?
Well, I guess I was basically a stray cat. I just kind of showed up and never left. So,
Hey!
there's that. But,
And we all know how we love cats.
That's right.
oh, here we go. Dogs are far superior.
Settle down. We're not going down. Yeah, that's right.
Just because you have a
Aw.
predisposition.
Right.
Bark meow.
But yeah, so basically you got involved with us just because you hang out with us pretty much.
Well, yeah. I mean, I always trying to wrench on something, backyard type shit, but nothing to this capacity. But apparently I'm either funny enough or I bring enough food over here where you keep having me back.
Speaking of wrenching, do you have like any project cars?
Right now I have a 90 Eclipse that's sitting in the garage, and then I have a 78 Grand Le Mans that I got from my parents.
4-door.
No, it's a 2-door.
Oh,
Come on, don't put
sweet.
me down like that.
I'm sorry. I did not.
It's a 2-door. We had to climb over the driver's seat to get in the back seat,
That's good. That's good. Hey, yeah. So, I guess that pretty much covers where the fuck Pete comes from.
Well, there. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Showed up, and you guys keep feeding me, so I keep showing up.
Yeah. Now, Pete's up the road. We met him when we were in Tennessee before I.B.F.HotRods was officially like government known as an LLC. So he was kind of like, he heard the stories about it, and then he actually moved to Indiana after we did and has seen the fruition of the
So what you're
idea,
saying is
concept.
I'm an OG.
That's right.
There we go.
He's an OG.
There we go.
Yeah. You got my wife and then Pete's hanging out. Pete's close second. And Randy's been hearing about this shit for a long time. So I guess he's kind of an OG too.
So does
Oh,
that
thanks.
mean
I
Randy's like a
appreciate it.
third or a fourth?
I'll put him under you.
I'm pretty sure we've talked about I.B.F.HotRods before we knew Pete. You knew Pete.
Right.
I'm not gonna. It's not a race, or it's not a contest.
Settle down, Randy.
So I guess the next question is going to be for my wife, Melanie. What's your perspective on how I.B.F.HotRods came about and what's your thoughts on it? Like how, your story behind
It was
it.
my husband's dream.
Yeah.
You want to elaborate?
No, I got his back. Always.
That's right.
Straight to the point.
Yeah. And for those of you that don't know, my wife, literally, if it wasn't for her having my back and believing in what we wanted to do and what I wanted to do, we wouldn't be in the position we're at right now. That's all I can say about that. yeah, that's about it. She's had my back since day one, and I don't know what else to say. She's like, let's fucking do it. And we did it. And now we're here. So short, sweet, and to the point. So we're going to get into a little bit more about IBF Hot Rods and these two, but we want to know about what's going on in your guys' world as far as how this stuff goes. You know, we want to know about building cars for GM and how a day-to-day basis goes, as far as assembly lines. And like, I know when you guys were in Tennessee, you guys were on the same line together building engines all day, right?
Yes.
That's what you want to call it.
That's what we were doing.
Right. Now, explain to the audience who might not understand what that consists of as far as like coming into work and assembling this stuff. Are you doing the same job, like literally being monotonous, just like moving your arm over here for fucking 8 straight hours?
Well, it depended on the engine make, what it was, what we had to install on it. We had to grab parts from the conveyor, which was a box behind it that people would put the correct parts if they did, which was few and far between. And we'd grab our part and assemble the engine. And they were a variety of different engines. Elaborate, Pete.
Well, yeah, it's just whatever engine model that they're running in whatever plant. Some plants rotate, some don't, that kind of thing. So you can be either on same job installing the same part 8, 10, 12 hours a day, or you can bounce around a little bit depending on, like I said, which plant you're in.
Now, didn't you guys rotated, didn't you? Down south?
Yeah.
When you guys were in Tennessee?
When I was in Lordstown, it was seniority rolled, and you stayed on the same job the entire day.
Right.
But they were pushing towards rotation, which was awesome because it broke up ergonomically. So you didn't tear yourself up, which you tore yourself up anyway, just in different times. But you have a 6 to 7 man group with a coordinator and a variety of different jobs that you do in aspect of where you're at on the line, as far as chassis, trim, engine line, paint, body. There's a variety. And we had just started the concept of rotating at Lordstown before we left. So we rotated every 2 hours.
Right. Which is good because, like you said, it would be tearing you up. A lot of people don't know how, what's the word I'm looking for?
There's a misconception of how much the monotonous work kicks your ass.
Well, it'd be the same thing as like people saying about carpal tunnel in their wrists and stuff from typing on a keyboard just by sitting there.
Yeah.
And
back in the day, we didn't have torques that now they have GEP.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to, they had guns that just over torqued, would kick, would throw your arms back, and you repeatedly shot down nuts, bolts, everything. I mean, we had harness jobs where we had 50 some plugs that we had to put in, and we did every third engine.
Yeah.
So you're under there, you're pushing in plugs and you're pushing in all those locks and you're blind because you're underneath the headers.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to get it by feel. I mean, it was a lot of tedious work that may sound simple to average Joe, but you go in there and do it. There was a lot of people that quit, that couldn't handle that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have people that would come in for 8-hour shift and
They leave by lunch.
they fired.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, well, not fired.
Wow.
They
Well,
left.
they'd go on break, lunch, whatever. And
They left.
what happened to, the new guy? Oh, that
That's
never came back.
That's funny
I don't know what to
because
tell you.
I've seen stuff like that in art industry too. Like people leave the same day.
Well,
Yeah.
they get it over their
Yeah,
head.
it's-
They show up and they think they can.
It's not what they thought it was.
Mhm.
No. I mean, anytime somebody asks you to do something and like expects you to do something, because when you're on an assembly line like you guys are, you have to fucking produce, or else you can't just stop. You can't just walk off the line in essence, can you?
No, I mean, we do.
Well, I mean, it happens, but no, if
If
any downtime is coming back and there's repercussions to whatever goes on in there, it's the line runs. That's how we make, which we all understand it. If the line's not running, we're not making money.
Yeah.
And we have torque tools that
So-
have spaces that goes from one point to another. If you don't torque that bolt down, or if it's torqued incorrectly, the line will shut down, which is called and-on. They're GEP guns.
How often does that happen?
A lot.
Well,
It's global error proofing
If
is what the
you-
guns are called.
if you have, experienced operators on the line that know how to do the job, everything can run smooth.
There's
But-
lights that are on the gun that show red, yellow, green.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get a green light, you know you torqued it down right. Yellow is too weak. Red is over torque. You have to back it out. You have to find your reverse button, and you've got to reverse it and start it. But some jobs you only have 3 torques and you have 3 bolts. So if you screw one up, it shuts the entire line down.
Okay.
Now, when you're talking about these torque guns, we're not talking about your average fucking snap-on torque wrench. We're talking about some.
Atlas.
Is it like attached to something hanging from the ceiling? I'm assuming.
It depends on where you're at.
Yeah, they're either like hardwired or like a Bluetooth that
Okay.
communicates. I don't know if it's Bluetooth or not, but it communicates back to a computer,
Yeah.
and then it tells you, yes, you're in range. No, you're not in range.
You can turn around and look at the box it's Atlas that usually does our torque boxes, and it shows your torque range. And when you learn the job, you have to know what the torque range is of your bolts.
Mm.
So
And something like this is pretty important. I mean, when we're talking about recalls on certain vehicles, we're talking about somebody who didn't do their fucking job that day.
and they know.
Yeah. So, when people get recalled for 1,000 frickin' jobs, there's either, somebody didn't do their fucking job that day, or there's a machine that wasn't up to par,
Well,
right?
the line will not move on if you're under or over torque.
Right. Okay. So it just shuts down, completely
Mhm.
stops. And I'm assuming everybody looks at you and asks what the fuck's going on.
Supervisors do.
Right. So I guess this brings me into one of my questions. So you were talking about something that was going on years ago. Now, what type of innovations and advancements in technology have you seen since you've been in the industry?
Prior to stuff hanging off the line, we used to have to turn around and grab our parts from lifts and whatnot that was behind us, bolts. Now they have everything laying in front of you, and they have a cart that hangs off the back of stuff that you just grab it. So they're what were those called?
Oh,
Kitting. So they kit. Like I'm engine line. I've always done engine line. So
Yep.
they had a kit cart that hung behind it, that hung alternators and AC pumps and wire harness and starters and
that was a little bit of everything.
yeah. And so you would grab your part, you would look at the manifest, which they have a piece of paper that hangs on the front of the engines. They do it with all the cars too, and it stipulates what this specific engine calls for. So you would know this is a 6-cylinder that has AC, whatnot, and you would grab that part.
Yeah, so you kind of get a feel for it. You know, you get the engine's coming down, you look at a specific point on that paper and you say, this one's a, you know, 1, 2, 3. And if that's not the right part, it's a 1, 4, 4. You know it's wrong. Now you got to get the right part. Whether that's how you go about that, you know, team leaders, is that, whatever. But I mean, you get to the point where you kind of know before it gets there what's going on. Good, bad, indifferent, don't matter. You know. So it's
So
pretty,
it used to be,
it's pretty simplified, yet a lot can go wrong.
Yeah.
if
and-
somebody kits the cart wrong, like
yeah,
prior
you're-
to, we would grab our own parts. We knew what we had, so we would go behind us, and that was GM eliminating material when they would bring us our own parts, and we would look at the manifest / broadcast and know what we had to get. We would do it ourselves. So when the part is kitted, whoever was kitting that part behind us, if it was not in that cart, that line was going down because
Yep.
we didn't have anything.
So I mean, it has to basically work as a machine. You know, if somebody's slacking on one end, it's just not working properly, basically.
Correct.
So I guess basically what I want to do is head back to the beginning. How did you guys get into this industry? Hold on, let me drink a beer.
I'm okay for that. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers, y'all. Oh, that's
cheers.
right. Holy shit. We're how far into this? We didn't even cheers anybody. Piggy's out.
Nope.
So yeah, how did you get into the industry in GM exactly? Was this like I just want this job, or was it like, hey, this fucker pays good, I'm gonna go see if I can get in? Or
Pretty much.
yeah.
I mean, there was nothing in Ohio at the time. I wanted to go to school to be a nurse, but stuff happened, and my dad worked there, and it was the highest paying job, excuse me, in Ohio at the time. So I jumped some hurdles and hoops and whatnot and got my name in, because my dad would not put my name in at that plant.
Yeah.
He did not want me working in that industry, which he had been in 20, 25 years at that time.
He just didn't want you to have all the fun.
Well, I'm sure it was pretty difficult back then.
For
Even-
women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Right. There wasn't probably as many equal opportunities, because you started with GM in what, the late 90s, right?
99.
99.
Mhm.
Yeah. What about you, Pete? Was it something that you always wanted to get into, or?
No, it temporary job, and then obviously became a permanent thing, but it wasn't, I had always, you know, kind of revolved around cars, working on them, this, that, whatever, but it never thought that was going to be the career path. Took a temp job, became permanent, and then just kind of went down the rabbit hole.
Right. But I mean, as far as the company itself is working for them, if like you get the benefits, you get the insurance, you get the whole 9 yards, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was doing tool and die, going to school for skilled trades prior to going there. Actually, I did both at the same time. And the amount of money that they paid per hour couldn't compete with where I was. That's why I had to that's why I left there and went, because I did a year with GM as a summer help, and I was going to school for tool and die, and I was working my 40 hours a week at the tool and die shop. I had to do both. I did that for a year, and the pay comparison was just ridiculous. So that's why I went with GM. I mean, I wanted a skilled trade because I enjoyed that stuff. Prior to that, I wanted a police officer, I wanted a nurse, so I was like all over. But I didn't want to work at GM. That wasn't in the cards. But so much stuff happened that's why I went there.
Yeah. Now, as far as you referenced, you always like tinkering and shit like that. Now, for those that don't know, Melanie used to build hot rods with her dad.
Mustangs.
Yeah, used to build Mustangs with her dad. And this question kind of goes, do you feel you've learned more about a vehicle since being involved in the GM production line and everything than you would if you were just basically organically learning everything?
I can definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
It's working on the assembly side, you definitely see vehicles basically torn down to nothing.
Yeah.
It starts as a frame and rolls off as a vehicle.
Literally starts up and
yeah,
rolls off as a vehicle.
You see it from start to finish. I mean, obviously, a brake caliper is a brake caliper.
Mm.
You know how they work. But to see how they're built and every little thing that can go into it, it definitely, it opened my eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm used to doing a brake job in the backyard because you can do it cheaper than you can ever do, taking it to a mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like where I got my start was kind of tinkering and doing home stuff to save a little bit of money, but the amount of stuff that goes into all these vehicles, especially today, is just insane.
Did you learn with through like family, or did you just kind of pick it up on your own?
Oh yeah, it was dad teaching me that kind of stuff. I mean, I've never.
Shout out to Al.
Heyo.
Heyo.
Hey, that's
Heyo.
my dad's name.
Heyo. Bring it on down.
Shout out to my dad as well.
Heyo.
That's another Al.
That's right.
But
That's where
Al's-
we met. Al and Al.
Al and Al.
heyo. But yeah, I've never torn down an engine or a transmission or anything like that. But maintenance, wear parts, that kind of stuff. I mean, he kind of taught me the way. But especially now, looking at everything that all the little sensors, the wire harnessing, that kind of crap. I mean, there's a lot of shit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit.
Well, I mean, that's one of the biggest misconceptions with what the hell we do. Nobody fucking has a clue. We talk about it all the time on here. Nobody has a fucking clue how long it takes. Like,
What it entails.
yeah, how long does it take on average, how long does it take from start to finish? We're talking about the frame coming in to driving off the lot. Any idea?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I mean,
It's different at every plant.
Right.
Yeah.
But are we talking about a whole day, 2 days, 5 days, a year?
No, you're
Not a year. Holy crap. Body shop builds 400 plus a day per shift.
Now, when you guys were on the engine line, to give the listeners some sort of perspective, how many engines were you rolling through in a day as far as what you guys had to do?
It varied at each plant. Like at Lordstown, we were 420
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
per shift,
Per shift.
per 8-hour shift,
420.
per shift.
Wow.
That's crazy. So you're looking at 1,500, damn near 1,500 fucking engines coming.
So if you think about it,
It's a lot of LSs, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
if you think about it, like 420 in a day. So let's just say that's how many it is. So if it's an assembly line, do you think that 420 are being made per day, like per 24-hour period, at least?
Because there has to be, you guys have to be producing. You can't just pull in 420 fucking engines and then
Because at some point,
not be pulling in on the back end.
at some point, it gets it's an assembly line, so
I forget how
It can't.
long
It couldn't. It couldn't
took to hit
bottleneck.
chassis.
right.
Oh, it would bottleneck. I mean, we would have issues, but I don't remember the timeline for a vehicle.
it
It varies on all of them.
There's so much variation, whether, if any little thing happens along the line, I mean, that just compounds farther and farther back you go. If a line is making the parts, but they don't have anywhere to go with them, what are you going to do? You can't just start setting engines on the ground.
Yep.
You can't set a fully painted body that's ready to go on a frame and just put it on the ground.
Yeah.
You're going to start scraping it up and to try to pick it up and put it back on a frame. It's just...
But each department has a bank as well, so that it doesn't cause downtime when something goes awry. That, like, from body to paint, from paint to trim, from trim to chassis, we all have banks where there's so many that will sit up there so that if there's an issue, the other department will still run.
Who fills the bank?
We do. Each, like, body shop to paint has I'm just throwing something out there, 120 vehicle
buffer.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So that if something breaks down, they still run. And
Okay,
It
so
can get
even
fixed on the back
what
end.
it does, it eliminates. So if a job shuts down for 5 seconds, 10 seconds,
Mhm.
it doesn't affect
yeah,
What's
entire
happening
plant
down
the
the
entire
line.
plant.
yeah,
It's-
I understand how it works. I'm just thinking like, when does the bank get filled? Like, or when does
they
If something breaks down.
kind of bank
Mhm.
on
Something-
breakdown. Downtime.
something breaking down
Downtime
down
is
the
going to
line.
happen. It's no matter what they do. I mean,
so
it's
are you-
all, it's
how
all
often do you
mechanical.
have to like do bank parts, or how often do you make bank
the
parts?
bank goes, it's above. It's,
Yeah.
It's above that goes before the department. So before body shop, before paint, there is a 75 car truck
Right.
bank that you sit up there and they all stock up. So that way, if paint should break down or body shop should break down,
Yeah,
they
okay.
can pull those. Like
keep
Engine
running.
Line in Lordstown used to have a 72 engine bank.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, if something broke down on body shop or in Engine Line, they could still pull from it and we would still run. So it was so that you didn't run car for car. So you
Yeah.
could still shut down
Yep,
or
okay.
you wouldn't shut down.
Right.
It's more there for if there's a major problem.
Yeah. That's what it
you
sounds
know,
like.
So another line can keep running, but it's normally if there's even a 5-minute delay somewhere, yeah, you can keep running and either build it up or whatever. But
Mhm.
it's typically you're not sitting there. Oh, these aren't going anywhere. These are going to the bank. No, it's just that's how the line runs.
Right.
Beer run.
They're taking.
Anybody need a beer? Beer run.
I need a beer.
I'll take a beer. I'm headed down the empty hole. All right. Let's take a beer break. And we're back. We got the beer.
How the fuck do we get ice cream?
So I guess one of my questions has to be, like, when you guys are, so that bank that you guys are filling basically is for any breakdown to or fro, basically. Like if you guys got, we're just going to put numbers out there. If you got 100 cars in a bank, if you guys break down, that bank is going to give you time to fix that fucking issue.
Right.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. So that's
To put it in layman's terms.
yeah, that's what they're trying to do so they can continue running. And then hopefully if you're on a job that has a buffer in between, you guys go down,
Mhm.
the bank starts dropping, they can still run everywhere else, and then hopefully down the line, the other line that was pulling while you're broke down will have some downtime, and you can continue running to fill that bank back up.
Yeah.
Is
Now-
what they're shooting for.
Now, how many, to put things in perspective for those that are listening, how many jobs was in your guys's, would it be considered a group? Like how many people were working in your group, and were they all doing a different job on that engine? I guess
it all depends. Some, like I said, with rotate, some plants rotate, some plants don't. Where the rotation plants have more of an issue with people rotating, the plants that don't, obviously you're on that job all day.
Yeah.
You know, that's your job. You get very good at it. Not saying that when you rotate you're not good at the job, but you get better quicker.
Yeah.
Real quick though, that's an awesome looking ice ball you got there.
Well, thank you. I made it myself.
Hey-o. Fucking spoiled rotten. The cats are spoiled and the fucking drinks are spoiled. I can tell you that around here, ladies and gentlemen. Hey-o. Let's hear it for the drinks and the cats, ladies and gentlemen.
Speaking of drinks, never mind. Sorry, continue.
Oh.
Yeah, so what I'm getting at here is like, so if you have like 8 people on your group, all 8 of them are doing a different job. They're not all doing the same part on the same engine.
Right, yeah, we're all going to take a different job, whether
Right.
it's, you know,
I'm basically piggybacking off of what you said about how it got put into perspective what it fucking actually takes to build this shit.
yeah,
and how many steps.
Everybody's going to put, I mean, obviously you and I can't put the same part on the engine. So everybody's going to take, you know, just to go back to engine line, you know, one job's a starter job, one job's an alternator, one job is mounting the transmission, one job is running a wire harness. Like, I mean, they're all different jobs.
Right. And whenever it comes to building fucking hot rods, like,
well, yeah, you got to know all of it.
People fucking question why it takes so long. It's
Well,
like,
yeah,
well,
instead of, I mean, I don't know how many thousands of people they have at each plant, but they all have
a job,
40 seconds to do their job.
Right. Oh, here we go. Everybody cracking them. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. That's right.
Cheers, y'all.
Hey-o. But, so, I mean, that's just, if it takes these guys 8 people to build a fucking engine, which it's not even the whole engine. It's just
that's
a portion of
one group out of
you have a
how many
6 to 8 man group and 7 coordinators per.
Right, and we're fucking building hot rods with 2 fucking people.
Yeah, figure it out. Get faster.
So Pete,
yeah,
Pete,
right.
how many jobs or how many different kind of jobs have you done?
Oh boy, here we go. I mean, there's a lot of shit I've done.
Well, just, you know, if you want to do like a general list.
Well, I think, you know, the top shit that he's talking about is
what's your favorite?
The bullshitting that he always does. Hey-o!
You know, Randy and his bullshit, you know.
As usual.
I mean, I honestly, the number of jobs that I've done, I haven't kept track.
Okay, yeah.
Multiple locations, multiple buildings at every location.
You're just along for the ride.
I'm here, there, I'm everywhere.
Literally,
So,
from
yeah.
New York to fucking Tennessee to
Little here, little there.
Indiana, right?
I've been everywhere,
That's been your
man.
That's been your jump, right?
Yep.
And my wife, I mean, shit, we wouldn't even be in Indiana if it wasn't for the ability to bounce around.
Ohio to Tennessee to Indiana.
Yeah. I mean, the whole reason we went to Tennessee was because
Cars,
I'm sad I missed Tennessee.
I was cars and SUVs to trucks.
yeah. And right now you guys are building, ironically enough, the new shop truck.
Silverados.
The new shop truck.
And
Well, we
Sierras.
don't
And the Sierra.
So we're not doing the HDs. That's
No,
not good.
literally, when I got the Carfax,
Oh, is that one?
it fucking,
It was built here.
it's
Oh,
come
it's-
home.
Okay.
It's come
There you
home
go.
to rest, ladies and
There you
gentlemen.
go.
Hi-yo. Hey. Oh, hey, everybody settle down.
It's been across the country twice.
Yeah, right.
More than me, I guess.
Yeah. Well, as many miles you put on that wheelchair, you probably went back and forth on the fucking.
Oh shit!
I put some miles on that.
Shots
Yeah, right.
fired. The
Yeah.
wheelchair, huh?
Pew pew.
Hey,
Drinking 36 bottles of water every fucking 2 days.
that's right.
Chapstick in his bra.
Yeah.
My bra?
That is her bra, man.
Oh,
That is
ladies
her
and gentlemen, I got a question for you two. Here we go. So, let's go. I don't know if I'm ready to ask this question yet because this is going to be a doozy on you guys. I know you guys are passionate about things, so we're going to save that one for the last
go
question.
ahead.
Oh,
this
you're going to
time.
get me
By all
fired up,
means.
huh?
No, we're going to. So, what do you guys think? Since you guys are pretty much the front line of the automotive industry, like everybody can sit back and talk about what they think Ford and GM and fucking Chrysler or whatever the hell. What's the name of it nowadays?
Big three?
Stellantis.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Stellantis
Stellantis.
is
Pipe down,
going.
Randy.
But you guys are seeing, like when people start talking about stuff outside, that's already being implemented inside, if I had to guess. So you guys are, as far as like where the automotive industry is headed,
Well, I mean,
where do you guys believe it might be moving towards? Because I know we're not going to get into a big electric fucking talk.
oh, let's not start.
Pete looks like
Because
he has
Null
an
and void
opinion.
that.
Because I know when we were in Tennessee, the electric started rolling in, and they started heading in different directions. Where do you think this industry might be heading? How about that? And okay,
Hydrogen.
two-part question.
Really?
Where do you think the industry?
Where do I think it's headed, or where do I want it to go? Those are two.
I wanna hear both.
Hydrogen.
I want to hear where you think it's headed because you guys are the front line. And where do you want it to go, or do you not want to? Can we not talk about that? I know it's kind of. It could be a teetering on the fence type of deal. How about let's just go with where do you want to fucking see where we're going? Where do you want to see the industry going?
Obviously, me. I mean, I'd like to continue. The ICE vehicles, the internal combustion engine. I'd like there to be an option for hybrids. I'd like there to be an option for all electric. If that's what you want and that's what you're happy with, go for it.
You're an idiot.
That's fine. I can
Not you.
I can call all those people
The
idiots.
electric.
I thought she called him an idiot. I was like, okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I was
No,
like, well,
not you, Pete.
I didn't
We
know he
all
said
know
anything
I'm an
about it.
idiot.
No,
but
the people who want
That's-
electric. You're an
If-
idiot. Hydrogen.
if
Okay.
if you do city driving and you're commuting 15 miles to work every day, and that's what you
Get a
are
go-kart.
comfortable with, that's fine.
No, I can see.
You know,
I can
but-
see that argument. Yeah,
when I'm trying to go 800 miles at a pop,
yeah.
there's
Ice.
no electric vehicle on the market that I can go point A to point B without stopping for. I mean, I haven't clocked it, or I don't have a battery vehicle to, like some of the Teslas, it'll tell you how long you have to stop and charge for. But I can stop at a gas station and have a full tank in 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, that's if you go inside, take a piss, and get some,
Right.
grab a bite to eat or whatever.
It's going to take longer than that to recharge at a supercharger to continue on my way.
Yeah.
And that's right now going out of my way to get to that charger.
Right.
So I think there should be an option, whether it's full internal combustion, gasoline, diesel, hydrogen, hybrid, or all electric. I don't give a shit.
But
But
there needs to be an option.
I don't think it should be forced upon the public as to this is the only answer.
That's right. That's a great fucking answer here, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Can we get a standing ovation?
That one deserves a drink.
That deserves
It deserves a drink.
Cheers.
Cheers for that one.
Gentlemen. Yeah. And we're we're back, ladies and gentlemen.
As we spill on the new soundboard.
That's right. I totally 100% agree that there has to be an option. You can't just force the public to do shit. That's communism, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not even fucking political, but that's communism. Babe, what do you think about this situation?
I'm all about ICE.
Yeah.
All about it. You know, I mean, that supports you. That supports Randy. That supports us.
I don't think.
I mean, I don't mind hydrogen, but the electric, there's just too many questions of where everything goes. It's
Well,
just.
there's nothing wrong with, furthering, innovation. There's nothing wrong with innovation.
Yeah.
If you're a company that wants to make something that thinks that's, going to better somebody else, that's fine.
Well, but then you also run into the issue of we want to be clean, and that's one of the biggest
And how
issues.
clean.
That's one of the biggest issues for pushing nothing but electric.
Right. And
How
all this-
clean are those batteries?
But
Where
yet-
are they going?
Yeah, right.
Not only the batteries, the mining,
Tires.
the mining,
Right.
Mhm.
the tires, and where's that electricity coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Because I bet you a lot of people don't understand that a lot of that is coming from coal-powered plants.
Yeah.
Oh, I think more people are actually finding that out, obviously,
Right.
in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're going to be fighting back against that, and I don't think they can actually push that on people as much nowadays,
Well,
or
Well,
in the future anyway.
Let's really talk about what. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. Let's really talk about what the problem is. It's got nothing to do with fucking cars and electric and fucking ICE shit. Let's talk about the fact that there's too many fucking people. There's too many people in this world.
Stop.
too much
You're
government.
You're gonna go away from the subject.
Too much.
And we're back.
It's a reset. That's what that is.
It's
Exactly.
a reset. I apologize for all those that think I'm an idiot. That's right.
I didn't say you were an idiot. We just don't.
We all
talk
thought
about
it.
We
That's
don't
the
need to
difference.
talk about the population.
That's 2 out of 3 so far.
Yeah, but in all honesty,
Laramie was in on it too.
you can't take the idea of 200-year-old record keeping, and 200 is a long shot. We're talking about like maybe 120 years of the whole entire world keeping track of the weather, and you're going to tell me that that's enough information to be like, we're going to have to go all electric.
Settle down, Joe Rogan. All right.
All right.
Let's
All right.
reel it back.
We're
in a
moving
little bit,
on.
because I'm
Moving
sure we
on.
all have our theories.
The
Moving
pyramids are
on.
electrical devices.
Settle down.
Let's
Randy.
debate that.
Holy shit, settle down. Pyramids just showed up one day.
Yeah, from aliens.
Cats.
That's right.
Pyramids are all about
No.
cats. Oh yeah, look at the
7 cats,
Egyptians.
7
No,
pyramids.
that's okay. So that's why they
7
learn.
pharaohs, 7
south,
turkeys.
east,
Okay,
west,
okay. Now,
perfectly.
now we're off topic.
No, we're not.
All right, where's the reset button?
This sounds like
All right.
That's not
we
the one.
apologize,
And we're back.
listeners.
And
okay,
we're back. Yeah.
Where are we at here?
a little off the rails.
Yeah. So, all right. Last question about GM, and we'll start moving on into the hot rod industry from GM to hot rodding. What do you guys? This is the question that I wanted to ask you guys from the start of this. I don't have that button yet.
Working on it.
Yeah. Hey. Anyways.
Wait, can I try it real quick?
No.
Wait.
Edit that out.
That's good. Actually, no. Oh.
You can't do me like that. Okay.
All right. So, what do you believe are some of the biggest misconceptions people might have about your guys' industry? And what do you wish people not in this industry knew about building modern vehicles?
Not all at once.
My thing is they don't realize they have the misconception that we don't work. This tears our bodies up. This kicks our butt. This takes a toll. They think that we are overpaid and underworked, and it pisses me off.
Yep.
The amount of, I mean, I worked last night. I worked, 14 hours, 15 hours, whatever.
On a Friday night, ladies and gentlemen.
I walked 7.5 miles. So that's minor compared to a person that is standing on an assembly line
Walking
and
sideways
yeah,
all day.
Yeah.
it's not ergonomically correct. It's the engines and the cars, and we don't have turns. What are they called?
Turnstile?
No,
Use
we
your
have
words.
turnstiles.
Rotisseries?
Yes, that move. They do in other plants. They have stuff that works for you ergonomically. It turns the chassis and whatnot upside down. But when I went to Tennessee from Lordstown, it was like 20 years back. It was ridiculous. We had to turn the engines ourselves, where in Lordstown, they had something that was on the line that switched it. In a long story short, we tear ourselves up every day, every single day. It kicks our ass, and people don't realize the amount of abuse that we put on ourselves building these cars on a daily basis.
I feel like one of the biggest misconceptions is the fact that,
We're button bushers,
yeah,
and it's not the
but
case.
one of the biggest misconceptions is like when the average Joe's sitting at home and they see these numbers that that people are getting as far as quote unquote performance bonuses and shit. You guys earned that.
And then some.
You guys have fucking earned that, and you got to remember that you guys earned that, and the person at the top earned your salary in a day.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
and it's not everybody that qualifies for that number. They
Right.
like to throw that number around
Oh, fuck yeah.
and say this is the maximum.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you go out, unfortunately, people get hurt.
Yeah.
It's
People get surgeries. People are out
you know,
for years and years and years.
every day. People are getting, well, I don't want to say every day, but people get hurt and have to take out time off of work. And yet, if you miss your hours, you get bumped down. You don't get your full profit sharing.
Yeah.
Whether it's GM, Ford, Stellantis, anybody's fault. I come to work, I do this job, it hurt me. Sorry, you don't have your hours in, you don't get this, bonus.
Yeah.
So I tore myself up for you.
Mm-hmm. You deserve it.
And this is how you repay me.
Yeah.
That's pretty shitty.
So, and that's just real world.
Well, the thing of it is, a lot of the people that bitch and complain about it, like, they get to go to work, and it's not like you guys can be like, hey, I want a fucking raise or I quit. They'll be like, well, see you fucking later.
Or a number.
Yeah. Which, just because it's such a large industry, such a large
Unfortunately,
machine, basically.
Unfortunately, that's what we signed up for.
Right.
But whether we knew it getting into it or not, that's what we signed up for.
Right. But everybody's born with a social security number, so we're all in the same boat.
Right. Well,
Fuckers.
Yeah, but they kick us aside and they hire somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, it becomes a number, and people don't think about that. Like, the people that are bitching and complaining and like, oh my God, they don't deserve this or whatever. Fuck yeah, they deserve it. You realize that
And then the same people
what
who
they
bought a
have done.
product.
Yeah. The thing of it is, these people that are bitching, they're looking at the numbers that somebody's getting, and they're complaining about it, but they're the ones that built everything. They're the ones that they're on the front lines building this shit from the ground up, and they're not even getting a portion of what the fucking company is actually making. We're talking about billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars.
The saddest thing about this industry is the price of this vehicle. We can't afford it.
Well,
That's
saddest.
That's outrageous.
It's disgusting.
Yes, that's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Pete. I can't afford one of these.
You build them and you can't afford them.
Nope.
Put that into perspective.
You should be able to afford what you build.
I can't afford what I build.
True that. Yeah, true.
Sounds like somebody needs a raise.
Hey, oh, a raise. Shit. No, I'm good. You know, I guess I could afford it if I'd saved up. Maybe.
I mean, yeah, right. Maybe if I played my cards the right way that I didn't know how to play them. Anyway.
Aces and eights, baby.
Yeah. But these guys are literally without these guys, like, we couldn't go out to a dealership and buy a new truck or a new car.
Right.
Who do you think's putting your new Equinox together? I don't know.
Well, I think Equinox from Mexico, I think.
Well, either way, no matter
Blazer.
whatever you
the
guys are
Blazer.
working on
Mexico.
Blazer,
was
Camaro,
built new.
Chevy 1500,
Yeah.
Silverado.
Just the way I mean, somebody built it new,
Yeah.
and then somebody parked it in a field.
Well, think about the assembly
Let
line
it
back in the
rust.
fucking 30s, 40s, and 50s that we're working on. Like, imagine that assembly line. Like, back in the 30s, old Henry Ford, he's do you know that the assembly line came from a fucking butcher shop? Do you know that the concept of what they're doing right now came from a butcher shop back in the fucking 20s?
I didn't know it was a butcher shop.
Yeah, that's old Ford, old fucking Mr. Ford himself was at a butcher shop and saw how the meat went down the line and was like, this is how we're building hot rods. Well, not fucking hot rods, but this is how we're building Model fucking A's, Model T's and Model A's.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, that's where it came from, man. And it's just ridiculous. But we're gonna
Turn it.
we're gonna head on down to
Flip the script. Flip the
Flip-
page.
flip the
Simmer down
script,
now.
Flip the script. So we're gonna go. We're gonna try to bring this all together, right? We're gonna bring in the hot rods and the GM world all together. So my first
Well,
question.
they go hand in hand.
Well, they do. They absolutely fucking do. Do you guys think there could be a more effective way in building modern cars from your guys' vantage point? Or do you think that what you guys are doing is the most efficient way possible to build a vehicle?
GM thinks that the efficient way is to use robots,
Yes.
which is hilarious because, just from
Robots can't buy cars.
exactly.
Oh, sorry. Did I say that out loud? My
No,
bad.
no lie. Where there were jobs, just to throw something down. I was on a door job where you had to beat parts apart that came to you that you had to put into a machine to have the robot weld into a door. And you had to get them out of a bin and throw it in, put it in the pins, whatever. They now have a robot doing this, and it makes no sense. They eliminated a job, yet they created a job because now somebody has to stand over there and babysit this thing to pull these parts apart, which we complained about and put grievances in about how they were stuck together from a personal point of view. A person standing there doing the job, they had to beat them apart. Now they make bins where they separate them and the robot still screws it up. So I don't know. I just think.
And they kept it?
The robot. The concept is ridiculous. They're trying to eliminate jobs, yet they have to make more to come over and fix what they tried to make better.
So they couldn't go back. They just said, "This is it now. This is what we're going to do."
Yeah. It's
which is big business. I saw that in the fucking oil field. I said it. It's in I said it. But I think a lot of it has to do with what Tesla's doing. Everybody's trying to piggyback off of what Tesla's doing.
Yeah, 4 people in a nerve center
Yeah.
and build cars all night.
Yeah. The crazy thing is nobody realizes this yet, but Tesla is building a whole entire car as far as the body goes in like 3 to 4 pieces. So if you were to get rear-ended, they would literally take your car apart from the C-pillar back to the bumper. That is all one piece pressed now. It's not like there's a rear fascia, there's a fucking rear quarter, there's an upper C-arm. All of this is one big piece. So if you were to get rear-ended, you would go in and they would literally fucking cut your whole ass end off of your car and come in and put a new fucking piece on. And that's the technology. Like, I understand what Elon Musk is trying to do as far as like a production and making money sort of standpoint. But at the end of the day, the production and making money standpoint ain't fucking helping society when nobody's working.
Correct.
Yeah, right.
So, like, you're supposed... We ain't even talking about this. We ain't even talking about this.
All right, then carry on.
Yeah, carry on.
Next
carry on.
subject.
Okay, so do you guys feel you guys have a sense of accomplishment or gratification in knowing that you guys build cars for a living?
No.
That was a quick answer.
Mm-mm. The only thing that I can say is I build every job that I have been on, I build it like I'm buying it.
Yeah.
Every single job, I think I'm going to build this like I'm purchasing this, or a family member is. So I build it exactly like that.
So that doesn't give you a sense of accomplishment or gratification, or not even a gratification.
Maybe to an extreme.
Peace of mind.
Yeah.
Maybe to an extreme, but I have so many people around me that I'm just not going to go there.
What about you, Pete?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, it's I can do so much, but how much can I do?
Right.
It sounds stupid.
It is what it is because of what it is.
But if
That's the wrong one. Nope.
I need you to figure this out. But I mean, if I'm only putting a starter on a vehicle, what separates me from somebody who's not installing something correctly,
right,
or this, so can I say, yes, I did everything that I could do today to make sure that quality vehicles are coming off the line? Yes, I did that.
Mm-hmm.
On your job.
But you've got new operators, or you've got replacement operators, or you've got, this, that, and the third that can go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, what I touched, I feel like this is the best that I could do. What else can go wrong?
So,
and unfortunately, so if, you guys building a hot rod, if everything else but one part fails, does your customer come back and say, hey, everything else was good, but this was wrong? No. All you hear about is, my brakes didn't work.
right.
And that's the reality of vehicle building. Really, any consumerism. It's, this went wrong. What, everything else can go great.
Yeah, I love this. This thing fucking wiped my ass completely, but left one dingleberry.
Yeah. and that's what you have is.
What an analogy.
It's a bad taste in your mouth.
Bidet.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Get on the fucking showboat.
It's,
come on.
It may not even be a screw up.
Mm-hmm.
One part fails, but it's your fault.
The 100,000s of
Right.
things that we do right.
Yeah.
A day, a month, or whatever.
It's
and they come back for that one thing that got jacked up.
Yeah.
It's the attaboy aw shit ratio.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's kind
How
of like
many attaboys does it take to cover up one aw shit?
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like Volkswagen. When Volkswagen, They built all those cars and it was great. But
To circumvent the EPA.
somebody threw a fucking
Was that a Trump thing? Because that's what it looked like.
That was well before Trump.
No, your face.
Oh, sorry.
That's how it looked.
dun, 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 dun.
Do you want me to take my
Wah, wah, wah.
Do your little fingers.
Huge.
I wish you people could see this.
Huge.
But the Volkswagen thing, like that, the Volkswagen car could have been amazing. Like I have no idea. I don't fucking drive Volkswagens. I'm not my buddy Paul who works on the Sons of Bitches and owns the Sons of Bitches and believes in the fucking things like that. Shout out to Paul. Happy 40th birthday. But
Hey, yo.
hey yo, we just saw you last weekend. Hey yo.
Rochester.
Rochester, calling out Rochester, New York. But
Go get you a garbage plate.
nobody cares how good of a car it was because some shyster, like you're talking about, put in a fucking code that was like, it's going to manipulate the system and say that we get better gas mileage.
Unfortunately, it takes one
Fuck up.
one person, one fuck up to completely sour you.
That's like I was talking about earlier with the recalls. Is it just a bad day? That motherfucker just have a bad day?
And not only
And he was
that,
like
but
hung over when he went to work and was like, fuck this shit.
with outsourced parts, you get a bad part, you install it correctly. Customers don't see that.
Yeah.
You know, you can have a bad seat belt that doesn't ratchet properly in an accident.
Yeah.
And customers don't care that it was installed correctly. It was a third party. You know, I mean, I don't know all the companies that make seat belts.
Yeah.
But, you know, you order from XYZ and you get a bad part in, you install it correctly, and the customer still wants to come back on you and say, this is bad. Yeah, but it wasn't my fault. I don't care. This is bad. I got it from you.
Mm-hmm.
Being in an assembly plant, you're only one person. You're only one job. There's only so much you can do, unfortunately. Being you guys with your hot rods, you build
You
to
can take the
spec.
time.
Yeah.
And
That's if you actually do take your time.
right.
Which
But you have
two
the ability
do.
to.
You two do.
Whereas, I mean, we get however many seconds
Yeah.
to say this is good, bad, or indifferent.
And we do as much as we can to make our jobs right, to make, if my dad was buying this, I'm building this great. And that's what we do on every single job.
That's
But
all that
We are
matters.
only one person out of how many people in that assembly plant. It goes through so many hands.
That's all that matters. Like no matter what you do, as long as you put your all into it and you actually care about what you do, that's what matters. Anything out of your control is out of your control.
I've done that since day one.
Oh, but I'm still gonna whine, cry, and complain, and hopefully hit the right person to say, "Hey, this is
You're an idiot.
this is wrong. This
and
needs
that's-
to be fixed."
And that's also that's also kind of like an extension of my point. Like that, like you guys actually care about your, you care about what you do for a living, and
Absolutely.
and you care about what you get out of what you do for a living, and it sucks that people still take advantage of that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that was my real question. Maybe I should have worded it differently about, like, it sounds like you guys get gratification out of what you're doing, not necessarily individually, not necessarily like the final product. Now, when I first met you and you were building the cruises, like when I saw the cruises, I was like, my fucking wife built that fucking thing. That fucking wife built that fucking thing. And now I got this fucking Sierra rolling around in this son of a bitch. My fucking like
Sierra, Silverados.
Yeah, my wife's building this shit now.
Acadias. What did we do? XT5, XT6.
I mean, I never really thought about this.
Lyric.
Like we're building
Lyric,
we're
the
building hot
whole-
rods.
Holden.
Yeah, we're building hot rods from the ground up, and I never really thought about like, that's exactly what the fuck's happening with you guys.
Well, see, every time I would drive by, because I started with Sunfires and Cavaliers, I would drive by them when I first started at GM, and I'm like, what part did I do on that? I
Yeah.
was proud.
Yeah.
I was
Oh, that's-
seriously proud.
That's really cool.
I
Yeah,
was.
You're stopping people. Hey, did your starter fail? Because I put that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I put your AC pump on. I did.
Is your fifth letter
every
in the
single one
VIN
of them.
number C? Because
Right.
if it is, it's
I
for
know
fucking,
something about that.
Yeah.
I did. I took pride in that. I'm like, hey, I did stuff on this, and I would pop the hood, and I'd go under there, and I'm like, I did this, I did this. I mean, I did. I took pride in everything, and then we have such a turnaround at the plant, at every plant I've been at. It sucks. It sucks because this work is not for everybody,
Right.
and people don't realize what we go through on a daily basis.
What comes full circle to the whole leaving at lunch, break, whatever, people
Never coming back.
come in and they see what
What it entails.
what the media wants to portray, and they see what it really is. And it's two different worlds. Let's
Yeah.
be honest. We're not all button pushers.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well,
granted, there are
Pete's
some,
a fucking button pusher.
There are. Yeah, I'll push that button repeatedly. But yeah, I mean, it's you see videos online on the news of somebody standing there. They load a part, they do this, they do that, and then they push buttons,
Yeah.
and then they wait for 20 seconds. That's what, maybe 1% of the jobs.
We don't do that anymore.
Right. It's either we're tearing up our bodies, or it's a robot.
Right.
Because they haven't figured out how to program a robot to do the job.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
So they eliminate one and they create 5 because there's all kinds of people in there trying to fix their shit.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, I understand it. I guess it's going to be worth it in the long run if they don't want to fucking pay somebody. But at the end of the day, it's greed and corruption. Well, I wouldn't even say corruption. It's just, it's fucking ignorance on the you can't take away jobs and think that it's going to create anything positive.
You can't not pay the people that make you money.
Right.
Like, don't.
What's sad is if
Like you can't charge somebody $125 an hour to build a hot rod and pay the son of a bitch $15 that did everything to it.
Right.
And then be like, well, I don't fucking understand why he fucking quit. I just don't understand it.
do that voice from the other night.
No, don't do that. We don't want to hear
The son of a bitch on Wheel of Fortune. Oh, no, that's not that one. That was a different one. I can't remember. I can't remember fucking what it was.
Okay, we're gonna move on. Last question in this segment here: Are there any areas that you see in your industry that you feel could benefit from building custom cars?
Do you think anything can transfer over to building custom cars from what you guys are doing?
Well, I mean, I'm just talking to people. How many times have you said, well, I wish I could get this without paying for that? Which would be nice, but unfortunately, the way that the cars are built, that sometimes it's just not possible. I mean, without having 400 different part numbers for everything. So we would have to have a custom harness for basically every vehicle in order for you to have a sunroof, but not have the Bose system or a heated seat or this, that. Like, it kind of compounds upon itself, which makes sense from a business point. But if you say, this is all I care about, well, then why do I have to pay an extra how many $1,000s to get this option, but I don't want that option?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's always that give and take, where yes, I want this, but I don't want to pay for that, so I'm going to give up this because it's not worth it to me.
Yeah.
So there's always give and take. You can. I mean, obviously, what you guys are doing are a little bit more than stock options.
I feel like The only type of assembly line that our industry has is like your frame systems, like Roadster Shop.
Like actual companies.
Yeah, actual companies that are highly producing full frames, full front
Like the
suspensions,
AC systems
and body panels and shit like that. And those are all fucking like. I worked with a guy who worked for certain companies that built frames and shit, and he said they had a whole line of people that built the frame that all they did all day was weld, and they got paid nothing. They got paid dick. Like he was getting paid $25-$30 an hour, but the people that were building the frames that was really bringing in the money for the business, they were getting paid $15 an hour. And they were the ones putting them fucking welds on. Those are the ones beading everything.
So I see that is like that coinciding with what they do is as far as like the, you know, the big man versus the little man.
Well,
woman.
Look at the aftermarket bullshit as far as body parts go. I mean, all those are sent over. You were talking about you have no control over the parts that are coming in that you put on the vehicle. Everything that fucking we buy or anybody buys, if you go to LMC or any of those places, that shit's coming from Taiwan.
Right.
We went through 3 or 4 different companies to buy the same fucking shit for the same fucking vehicle. And it all came from the same place at the end of the day, but it had a different fucking wrapping on it. But after you got through the wrapping, it was the same fucking Taiwan fucking company.
Yeah. Speaking of, where do the parts come from usually from like GM, Ford, whatever?
We get them out of a box. It's right there, and we just put it on.
Okay. Yep. Gotcha.
We have absolutely no control over it. We
just shows up.
It just shows up.
It's just here.
I mean, they say this is, you know, within OEM, which I'm sure their tolerances are tighter than anybody else's, but we get OEM parts and say these are OEM, and we put them on, and that's about it. I mean,
I gotcha.
We're always checking to make sure that, you know, do they fit properly? Are the gaps right? You know, are they going to function properly? But with a lot of this stuff, I mean, until you put power to it and test it, is it going to work properly? We can't tell.
Yeah.
You know, it's function testing is a big thing.
I know we kind of briefed on this, but like, do you see any similarities between what we do, like building hot rods, and what you guys do?
Honestly, no.
No?
I mean, your world is a lot of custom. You know, this is 100% fit to this vehicle, this frame, this body, this door, this bedside, this tailgate. Whereas,
but what about
in an assembly, you know, we're looking at body gaps.
Yeah, I was going to say, what about like attention to
stuff.
detail and stuff
Right,
like
yeah.
that?
We look at it, but it's not as I don't think it's as scrutinized as what you guys are doing. You know, you are building within a degree of difference.
Yeah,
you know, or a half a degree, whereas we have a set standard of.
But at the same time, like we almost have the same kind of standard, because like when a car is at a dealership and a potential buyer goes up to that car and looks it over, you know, they're going to want perfect gaps and perfect,
right.
in, you know, the paint.
Well,
Does anybody even look at gaps?
That's what I was just about to
Oh,
say.
sorry.
Like,
Well,
when you're buying a
maybe
fucking
it's just
new
me because
vehicle?
that's what I look at all the time. But yeah, if I was buying a car, yeah, I'd be looking at the gaps because I look at gaps on like Teslas and they never match up.
They're
Settle the
terrible.
fuck down.
They're terrible.
Yeah, let's not talk about the fucking Lamborghini style doors in the back that go up and down,
Okay,
and
we
then
gotta-
you
we gotta
open the
start.
son of a bitch up,
Oh,
and
you got 'em going again.
it's a brand new car, and there's fucking paint knocked off because they didn't put the rubbers in properly. To fucking,
Okay, so
yeah,
depending on the make, obviously.
and we're back.
So yeah. As far as like GM or you've only worked for GM, right?
Right.
Yeah. I guess so
Car manufacturing.
yeah.
I can pick the
So I guess people don't look at that type of stuff.
From what I've noticed is that people do not look at body lines.
Yeah,
they,
okay.
they look at body, but they don't look at body gaps.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
So-
totally wrong then.
so-
I'm sorry.
Well, they
Well, here
definitely.
I'll give you an example. My a relative, I'll say a relative, there was looking
Uncle,
No.
aunt, cousin, which is it?
at relative
Let's just settle down
Oh,
there.
I think I
Or,
know who it is.
was
I know who
looking
it is.
was looking at a vehicle, right?
Okay.
And the Carfax said it was in an accident, and without knowing what happened,
I think you're premature on that.
Sorry.
without knowing what happened, I took a look at it, and I could tell how it was hit, how the impact happened, all that. And they had no idea. Because I could look at the body lines and the panel gaps and everything and put it all together
Right.
as to, oh, well, this was a frontal impact from the passenger side that went toward the driver's side and shifted the whole front end.
This guy's a regular old FBI agent.
Yeah. No. That's
Private
that's
detective.
awesome.
Private detective.
Unless you're working at a body shop or on vehicles as, a daily thing, you're not going to tell that. So, and that's just the way that most people do not look at that, where they see, does the door open right?
Right.
Does it close right? Does the hood open? Does the hood close? Granted, there's going to be obviously some variance, but as long as the car is functional, again, with Tesla, as long as the car is functional, it doesn't matter if you have a 5 mil gap at the top and a 1 mil gap at the bottom of the panel. People accept it.
Right. Wow. That's crazy. I mean, I can see that. You can pick that up from pictures and
Yeah.
just pictures on scrolling through Facebook. Wow, that gap is terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
And they sold that car for how much?
And
Right.
people don't look at it.
That's crazy.
That's
Simple.
the crazy part.
But on average, normal, for lack of a better term, people walk around vehicles. Like your mom even said she didn't realize stuff until you pointed stuff out to her. A normal,
And now she's a professional.
They want to make sure it drives and it stops.
yeah, but
And
like,
that's typically the
for
extent.
us that has worked in the auto industry, we walk up to a car. I mean, mine did it. I did it because of my father and putting panels on and whatnot. Walked up to something and would see the gaps, and I know the tolerances, and you could visibly see, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
How
You can
This-
definitely tell the people that
Yeah.
work on it day in, day
and
out.
I mean that is
and
that
the
is
people
on our,
that are buying it.
yeah, that is on our final line where you would
Yeah.
you have your sticks and you
You've
put them
got-
in, and you
You've
know
got
your
gauges.
tolerances.
This is good. That's
Yeah.
good or no
that's
good
something that we
gauges.
You guys
do.
got the gap gauges and the whole nine
Yeah.
yards when
Yeah,
it comes to that
that's
shit. Yeah.
that's the final
It's-
finish. That
it's-
fits everything. They
Now-
would.
Good, no good.
When it
That's
comes to
your-
final fitment, is there final fitment? Is there somebody that like a human being?
Yes.
That's actually
Yes.
like, this is where we're putting it.
Absolutely.
They
There
check
is
the
no
hoods,
way in
they check
fucking
the
hell.
doors, they-
Yes.
There's no way in hell
that's-
that could be a robot thing.
No.
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 Because unless their artificial intelligence
No.
was on the level of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Cyber 9 Systems Model 101.
No, we have a tolerance that
So,
Oh, there's
they slide in
gauges.
between
Yeah.
to show, and it's ridiculous to leave the line where it's real tight together, and for lack of a better term, for people who don't know what that looks like, for it to be real tight at the top and real far
like a
apart at the
fucking piece
bottom.
of pie.
Oh, loosey goosey.
Like a fucking
Yeah.
piece of pie is how
Yeah.
I like to
And- but-
describe it.
But your normal average Joe doesn't look at that. They walk around and they're like, okay, it looks pretty. There's no dents. There's no dings.
There's
no
no
scratches.
dents. There's no scrapes. There's no imperfections in
Yeah.
the paint.
They don't know how to look at a car. They're
Correct.
looking at it. They're not looking like
They
in
look-
it.
yeah,
In it. We
right.
look in
Yes.
it.
Unfortunately, people who are buying cars look at it as a consumer. Does it function properly?
Yeah.
Does it operate? And that's all, we look at it at a little deeper. Again, you guys are probably even deeper than us, where you want
Perfection.
perfect gaps from
Yeah.
top to bottom.
Definitely.
Whereas we are, all right, there's a little variance, but it looks, aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. And but most people don't look at it and say, well, the door has more of a gap at the top than does in the bottom. It's not aligned properly. 99% of people don't look at that.
Now, do there do people put miles on these things, or they
Squeak
just
and rattle.
that's it?
Squeak and rattle.
Squeak and rattle is like 5 minutes in the fucking thing. They drive.
How does that work? Squeak and rattle.
Every few cars,
Hold on before you answer this.
Let's maybe not toast over the.
squeak and rattle.
That's I'm over here.
Oh, this isn't too full. We should be all right.
Okay.
It's under warranty still. Just
Cheers to all the assembly line workers.
That's
and
right.
Cheers to the assembly line.
The-
If it
workers.
wasn't for you guys, it fucking literally wouldn't function.
America
Thank you.
wouldn't
Shut
be going
down.
around.
Like it
We
wouldn't
were-
fuck. We just talked about this on an episode we didn't post.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Love you, baby.
Cheers.
I love you too.
Woo! Woo! That was. What do you show you?
That's good.
And we're back.
Shout out
ladies and
to
gentlemen.
Blackberry Crown
That'll
Royal.
wake you up.
Yeah.
The end of my microphone just melted.
Not sponsored.
That was your Chambord.
That was
for
good.
Randy.
That was good.
Anyways, answer that. Go ahead, babe. You remember what we were talking about?
I was shouting out to assembly line workers, and
Right.
that,
But before that,
no, there was no question.
Oh, we were talking
Let's
about
go on to
gaps.
3.
we were talking about. What were we talking? We were just talking about.
That's what we were talking about. Tolerances.
Yeah, the last I heard
Gaps.
was panel gaps and
Yeah.
what the actual consumer looks at, which is nothing.
Not
No.
a damn.
So,
Does it run and drive?
obviously, you guys have learned a lot of and that's just one instance, but learned hidden talents. You're not your average,
Average consumer.
right?
I can lift shit up and I can put shit down better than anybody else on the face of the earth.
Put them down.
Yeah. What do we do here? I pick it up, I put it down.
See, I looked at stuff because of my father building the Mustangs. And
Yeah.
looking at everything, making sure it was
Well,
appropriate or symmetrically correct.
Tell me about that, because we didn't get into that at all. We should have got into that earlier, but we didn't. I want to know about.
Oh, my dad was a crazed freak. He had OCD. He had,
Well, you used to build.
Is that where it came from?
You used to build.
and my mother.
You used to build.
Thanks, Mom. Love you.
You used to build Mustangs with your dad,
Yeah.
and
Well, I didn't build them. I got little odds and ends that I could do till I showed him that I was capable. Or
She's competent.
coherent enough.
no, he had OCD. He was ridiculous. I was a girl, so. But it was the pride thing. It was. Where you going? You gotta wrapping it up. He was very passionate. There's that word. he loved what he did, and he took pride in everything that he did. You know, I started out small. I started out wet sanding and learned engine, not motor.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
Engine stuff.
Fucking Wikipedia, that one.
Engine stuff later, but that was the key thing, was learn how to put everything together, wet sanding, and I got to mud stuff, which he didn't do a lot of. He didn't like Bondo and anything.
That was good.
Yeah.
That's the fucking way it's supposed to be, yeah.
But he would buy, you know, $250. Honest to God, he built that 68 and a half 428 Cobra Jet. He paid $275 for this damn thing, and checked the serial numbers. And
Well, he bought it from a junkyard, right?
Oh my
didn't
God, that guy would drive down the road and would see shit on the side and go, "We need to stop. We need to stop. We need to stop right now." He had an eye for all of that. He would pick shit out of everything and know he would make a shit ton of money from it.
Mm-hmm.
And he would buy everything. And I would just go out there and tinker with him and learn. And that's where my love of cars came from.
Why aren't you out here in the garage with us?
Because she fucking
'Cause
works
I work.
14 hours a day.
I know.
If
I know
if
that.
I didn't have this job where
Sometimes she needs some sleep.
Is that for me? Is that for me?
Yes,
Damn it!
that's-
Damn it!
fuck you, Randy. Randy, I'd love to be out there full time.
I'm counting down the days until you're. I talked about this.
You're counting down the fucking days.
Yeah,
I deal with
okay.
you every day of my
you
fucking
both are
life.
counting down the damn days.
Okay,
Holy
so
shit.
we're all counting down the days until Melanie is done with what she's doing,
I'm
so she
counting
comes
down.
join us
I
at
have
I.B.F.
one.
Hot Rods.
I have
She needs to work another 30 years.
6 years,
No,
bitch.
30 more.
I'm counting down the days because when she retires from GM, I get goats and I get cows. Are we getting a
Oh.
pig?
And I'll be sleeping at night.
Can I have
instead
a pony?
No, fuck off.
Horses.
He's already trying to fucking get a quarter acre from us, the cocksucker.
I,
Uh,
That's just to build a house in the corner.
no,
there.
no, not a house, a tiny house, a little cabin. That's all I need, man.
All I'm saying is,
Apparently, building permits are a problem around here.
well, no, we just have, we have the,
Oh, a ditch.
what's the word?
Property or
Yes, I have
land?
property.
Land?
Yes, I have land. Just fucking-
Permission?
Easement.
Yeah, that's it, babe. Fuck all you guys.
A
She got it.
parallelogram.
Easement.
I don't know
Easement.
nothing about that, so I don't know what easement is.
No,
Right.
you
That's
wouldn't,
why
because
you
you don't
don't
have a
own a
tiny little
land.
house on our place.
No. Not yet.
Settle down.
He was looking at the price tag of the fucking property
We're
across the way.
Going astray.
Okay. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen.
We're back.
Yeah. So we're bringing it home now. All right, ladies and
Bring it
gentlemen.
home.
We're gonna
Thanks, Al Emerine.
we're gonna jump off the topic of whatever we were just talking about.
Here's to you, Dad.
We're headed
There's the
down.
hells everywhere.
Here's everybody's dad's here.
Everybody's
I mean-
house. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
for those of you that
Herb.
don't know, my wife loves 67, 68 Mustang.
Amen.
And
So if you have one you're willing to donate, that'd be nice.
donate. Fuck yeah. I thought he was going with sale, but fuck, donate it, baby. We're up for anything.
I tear it up.
That's right.
I tear it up.
This is more along the lines of
Don't you point at me.
Pete Wagner.
Pete Wagner.
Pete Wagner. Do you have
Hey, Siri, call Pete Wagner.
Yeah.
Asshole.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No, asshole, it'll ring Randy.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
I'm okay with that. All right.
Do you
Are you
have
sure
a
on speed dial?
favorite classic car or custom car movie or TV show that you just fucking love?
Or yeah, the car from the TV show or
Jesus, that's a loaded question, ain't it? I mean, shit, there's a lot of answers to that.
I just want to know which one is like,
Your favorite.
You
What's
know.
your favorite
You
car?
have-
If
you have
you
a
could
favorite.
have
I
any
am-
car,
no, This is
What?
a
No,
TV
no.
show. We're
Oh.
not talking about
Oh,
cars.
my
now
bad.
we're
Another
going. Now we're
question that-
limiting to TV show.
We're TV show or movie.
Holy shit! I was about to say a C3 Corvette, but if you're
From
gonna-
what?
From what? Exactly. That's what I said. I was going to say a C3 Corvette.
What
you know,
about it?
Maybe a C8.
What about
You know,
it?
the Stingray.
Whoa,
they're,
we
just,
went from C3 to C8.
they're just gorgeous cars. That's what it
So
is.
we're
They're not
damn
from
right.
a
So we're
TV
just
show.
moving from question 1 down to question 6
Hey,
or so.
listen.
Or so.
you phrased this in what's your favorite car?
No, my wife.
No.
Now all of a
Yeah.
sudden you want to limit it to a movie
No,
or
no.
a TV show.
I want to
No,
know if
that-
you got a movie or a
apparently-
TV show you like.
Holy shit!
Thanks.
Did you read the outline?
You know what the problem is
Not
here?
even close. You think I can read?
And we're
That's
back.
the problem.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, redo
The
that
wife,
question.
the wife gave us a half a shot of something, and we derailed. Back to the question at hand. Do you have
Crown
a favorite?
Royal Blackberry. Thank you.
Do you
Not
have
sponsored.
Pete Wagner. Do you have a favorite classic car or custom car movie or TV show that you just cannot get enough of?
Car movies or TV shows? Well, I mean, is it terrible that you got to go with Gone in 60 Seconds?
No.
No,
No,
You like the
no.
bus.
And you have to go with Eleanor.
Right.
Oh,
That's a good choice, man.
love you.
That's a good choice.
I'm not a Ford guy,
Why,
but Eleanor.
how would you
fucking
feel like any
gorgeous.
sort of different way about like liking a certain car from a like? Look at us, we're a bunch of car people here.
The only
of
problem
nerd. I mean,
with the
nice
Gone in
guys.
60 seconds.
No, I already know what you're going to say. Go ahead and say it, but it's
Here it comes.
What am I going to say, Randy?
you're going to say you don't like the movie because the jump at the end.
Yes. Ladies and
Thank
gentlemen,
you.
standing ovation for Randy. That
He's
is
taking
correct.
his hat off because he's passionate.
That is correct.
You don't have
The
to worry
jump
about
is
the jump at the
ridiculous.
end. He's going to Bondo that shit back together and put it on the shipping.
Bondo
The-
it.
yeah, he's going to put it on the shipping crate.
All I know is
It's like 50% of the
jump.
car, but he's going to
Okay.
fix it.
just jump the Mustang.
Eleanor, right?
Okay.
Okay. How about you?
Fuck's sake.
Oh, me. Wow, wasn't expecting me to be asked this question.
Well, then I'll go.
Go ahead.
Fast and Furious.
Which one?
Love them all. Love Chevelles.
Oh,
I am all about
yeah.
Cutlass.
You mean the time when he drove the Chevelle for
doesn't matter.
35
It-
seconds and
it-
ran into a fucking
No.
a train?
I'm sorry,
Whatever
babe.
the fuck it was.
I don't
Do I
care.
really?
I love
that was a Charger. I mean, that was,
Chevelles, Cutlass,
Where's the Chevelle?
Charger,
I don't care.
Mustangs. It doesn't matter. Those are old muscle cars.
What year Chevelle? Because I know you don't like the 70s, but we're talking about the Chevelle.
My favorite is a 68.
Right.
That's-
so we're
that's-
talking
But
about
Yeah.
I also love the 66 because it's a little more squared.
little. That fucking thing is fantastic.
Well, yeah, it's not more rounded.
Yeah.
70's not bad, but after 70, I'm done.
Yeah. Me too.
What's your favorite
Yeah, right.
movie?
Me?
Well, yes, Elliot.
Oh, for fuck's sake. You can't put that on me. I'm a horrible answerer.
Apparently a horrible speaker.
Okay, but horrible.
Okay,
I
so
don't think you can
Whoa!
say that.
But you love movies and you can quote them all. So how about a car?
want hush
okay.
puppies, Daddy.
All right. If we're talking movies, obviously the
Yeah.
greatest movie of them all was Smoking the Bandit.
Oh well, hell yeah.
Damn
Yeah.
straight.
Coming.
Yeah. And so when I was younger, TNN, if for those of you that are old enough to know what TNN is,
Holy shit.
they fucking played back to back, Dukes of Hazzard.
Mm.
And I'm not a Charger guy at all. But the fact that they were just fucking ripping around in the dirt.
Launching that.
That's, I mean,
bitch.
I'm from,
I'm sorry.
from Spring Mills, Pennsylvania, and hot damn, that's what I used to rip around in was the dirt and shit.
You know what? That show was a great show.
Daisy Duke. The only two words that need to be uttered here. Daisy
For
Duke.
fuck's sake.
Oh, she was the bomb.
Well, she didn't age well.
She was a badass woman, that's for
Settle
sure.
down.
And
What?
she aged into Jessica Simpson.
Yeah. That's who played her later. Anyway,
Simple.
Randy.
Something jumped
Settle-
up underneath my undercarriage.
Oh my God.
What is going on here? Okay.
Sporadic.
And we're back.
What is that, AT&T?
Sorry, wrong button. There it is. And we're back.
What was your favorite?
I mean,
I don't know if I have a favorite. I mean, obviously, Smoking the Bandit. I grew up watching Smoking the Bandit. Like that's the '77 Trans Am. That. I mean, it was all Burt Reynolds. I don't even know if it's even the car. It was more
Yeah,
Burt
it was
Reynolds.
his
it was the
portrayal.
hauling ass.
It
It's
was-
just
His
like the
portrayal.
it's like the fucking Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah,
Just hauling
so
ass.
I grew up watching Dukes of Hazzard. Like I watched the hell out of that show. And
reruns, you young
well,
son of a bee sting.
obviously reruns, but the the Charger was a pretty decent car for me, but I I have a couple other ones. Like I really liked the Yenko Camaro from Too Fast Too Furious.
What? Too
yeah.
Fast, Too Furious? That's a Tokyo Drift?
No,
Oh, it's all the farther I got.
no, that's the third one. The second
it's
one,
like I said, it's all farther I got.
the second one was Too Fast Too Furious. There was a Yenko Camaro, only briefly. It was a little like pink slip kind of race. But I love Camaros. I know they're well overdone. I understand that, but
No way. They're only overdone because you can buy a fucking body out of a magazine.
Settle
Well, yeah,
down.
yeah.
I like the hideaway headlights.
You fuck the RS.
the '69 Camaro is one of the most beautiful cars ever made. But
Especially the Yanko.
yeah, especially the Yenko. But the Yenko in that Too Fast Too Furious, I enjoyed that
If I
car.
had to choose a Yanko and a Eleanor,
Oh, well,
I'd-
Eleanor all day long.
I'd go with the Yenko.
well, you would.
Well,
yeah.
I wouldn't.
Because there's a couple other ones. The GTO from the Punisher, the first Punisher movie, I think.
Yeah. The one where that Wrestler was in it.
Yeah.
Wrestler.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about?
Yep. He was one of the
Is
bad
that
guys.
Pennsylvania talk.
Wrestler.
That's the only way I know how to say wrestling. Because that's what they do in Pennsylvania. They just love themselves some wrestling in
Tongue
Pennsylvania.
I love the Chevelle in Jack Reacher.
Yes.
Yeah, Jack Reacher. The Chevelle that Tom Cruise played. That was a red Chevelle.
I don't know.
I don't know. I read
Chevelle.
the book.
I don't remember, but there was a Chevelle in that one.
I don't
We
read
fucking
movies very
smart.
often.
I love Chevelles. I love the late
Me
'60s
too.
Chevelles. Probably one of my dream cars is late '60s Chevelle. I don't really have a preference on which year. The only thing is that one of my dream cars, and I don't understand why they didn't make this. I don't understand why they didn't make a dual headlight and dual taillight car.
Didn't they have a dual headlight?
They did
I
do
thought
a dual
that.
headlight,
I thought it was
but it was a
68.
single tail light.
Yep, I thought the same thing. I
Because
thought
I
they
thought
made
it was a 68 with the rectangle.
Well, they ended up putting the tail light in the fucking
they switched it.
in the bumper at one point in time.
They switched it. I don't remember the exact years. I'm not a Chevelle encyclopedia of whatever. You know what I mean?
Aficionado.
Yeah. But at one point they had dual headlights, and then at one point they had dual taillights, but not together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Correct.
And I don't understand that. That's the best. So one of my dream cars is to build one.
My brother was Chevelle's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that.
Oh, and real quick, the other one that I almost forgot was the Merc from.
That Sylvester Stallone movie.
Yeah, that was. I'm slipping on
Fuck
the
is
name.
that? Sylvester
You guys are
Stallone.
the movie buffs.
Fuck Sylvester
Go ahead,
Stallone.
Pete.
If it ain't Arnold Schwarzenegger, I could give two shits.
or you're just looking up cars.
Sylvester did all he could to get out of the shadow of Arnold, and it just didn't happen.
I don't think he was in his shadow.
Oh,
Oh, settle down. We're going back to cars.
He
We're
did
gonna
his own
skip
movies,
that.
and Arnold did his own
Heyo.
movies. So
Heyo.
yeah.
Hey,
That's why
hey,
Rambo,
hey,
Commando.
Hey, here we go. Let's go back.
All right. Okay. All right. So now that we've gone through you guys building shit and all that happy horse shit, is there any part of building a vehicle you guys wish you were more knowledgeable in?
Wish.
From start to finish.
No, I'm good. No. I've been all over the plant. I've been shipped out. I've been everywhere. No.
Okay, moving fucking on.
There you go. Probably.
You?
Well, it's as long as I'm doing it, I might as well. I don't know that I want to know every job from start to finish, but I'd rather know more about the process.
Well,
As dumb as that sounds,
we're talking about
rather-
outside of GM. We're talking about just like vehicles in general. Is there any part of the vehicle that you wish you were more knowledgeable in? Whether it be like
How to make more power for cheaper, goddammit. I'll tell you that much
Hey,
right now.
thank you. That's the best fucking answer right there.
It's not as
Pete
simple
wins.
as just strapping a turbo or a supercharger on as it's made out to be. Like, let's be honest.
Right.
It's not, I'll strap a turbo on it and you'll make more power. Well, yeah, but you have to make sure everything else down the line is right. Don't just slap a supercharger on. Everything else down the line has to be right. Your tires,
Depending on the
your
engine.
transmission, your,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
do you
Depending
have
on
the
the
right,
engine.
do you have billet internals? Do you have forged internals?
That's
like
exactly-
what the hell you got? Like, you need a lot of shit to go right. And that's, like I said, I'm a GM Chevy, GMC guy through and through.
Hey yo.
But yet the Hellcats and the what is it, the Hellfit and all that shit. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of shit that goes into making those perform.
There's a reason there's
consistently.
$30,000 a
It's
fucking
still
engine.
an assembly line.
I understand that, but there's still a lot of shit that goes into making it work. Let me know that.
So would you say like you would want to know more about electronics? You want to know more about the internals of it?
I want to know how to make more power cheaper.
Right.
That's what I'm about. I don't give a shit what the car looks like, what anything,
YouTube.
I want to make shit
That guy's
go
name?
fast.
Tim the tool man. Cue that guy.
Yeah. More power.
Yeah.
Hot damn, I love Tim.
There you go. That's what I,
I
grew
love
up
Tim
on.
Allen.
Right
For
there.
fuck's sake, if you're listening, Tim Allen, I fucking want to meet you.
If there's a
I
belt
wanna
sander, I
hang out
want to
with
make
you.
it go faster.
Can
If
we
you-
see your cars?
If you don't drink, I don't care. I want to be. I
Or
want to
maybe
have a
Jay
beer with
Leno.
you. Jay Leno.
That'd be.
I mean,
pretty
I
cool.
guess it'd be all right. Anyways,
And everything's gone.
so I know, babe.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
What do you want to restore or customize?
A Chevelle, a goat, a Mustang. That's where I'm going.
Top of the list. So the 58 that we have outside is not on the top of the
No.
list.
Nope.
Well, I guess that's gonna be sitting in a couple more years.
Yeah,
then.
and so when I say about selling it and you tell me no, it has nothing to do with the fact that you want to fucking see it done. It's more the fact that like
Let's
You've
keep
already dumped
personal
this
life
much
decisions
money
out of
into
it.
it. You might as well finish
You
it.
asked me my top, so I answered. I mean, that is who's farting?
who's fucking doing stuff?
First of all, it's the table.
Pete, what have you
Stang?
considered restoring a classic, or you just straight up on that fucking Eclipse, baby?
Well, I mean, the 4G63.
Don't forget about the Kawasaki.
Let's be honest.
Don't even bring up the Cowie.
The Kawasaki's just here.
Oh, okay.
Literally, it
Let's-
just exists.
It's in the
It
garage.
just exists.
It's getting charged as we speak. That's just it. That's what happens. I don't know what to tell you.
I've never felt my nuts
Oh my god!
more up my asshole than riding that Cowie, and I just rode it down the driveway.
I think
Hey,
he
man.
has.
Settle down, babe. No.
Wow. I hope this doesn't make the cut.
I hope it does.
We're all hoping.
I'm marking it.
Oh, sorry.
Anyways, moving on.
Carry on.
As far as classics go, I mean, I'm obviously the Chevelle. Always nice.
What year?
Yes.
Well, I mean, Chevelle, like,
Are you
really.
past 70 though?
You give me the
He wants a
No.
73.
I feel like
70,
Chevelle.
you know, 68, 72.
I feel like
Anywhere in
Chevelle is the
Give me
only
the
thing that came
454.
into the fucking early 70s that's like remotely reasonable.
See, I didn't mind the 396.
But why stop at 396 when you have a
Well,
454?
as long as you don't have drum brakes.
As long as the number's bigger, it's better, right?
Well, they always
Them's the
supposedly.
rules.
Drum
Well,
brakes were horrible.
I feel like the Chevelle like is the only into the 70s car that I can actually accept. All right, so since we've gone past the favorite car portion of the episode, my next question is do you have a favorite era of car? I know you have a favorite car.
Era as in decade, mostly.
60s. What?
Yes.
60s and
That's
why?
exactly it. Yeah.
Because 70s went to shit.
Well, of course they did. But
What
there's
about
still
the
the
50s?
Yeah, there's still the 50s,
Eh,
40s,
40s.
30s,
Well,
20s.
yeah, I mean, they were okay, but you asked my favorite. I told you
I am.
60s.
Can you
I'm trying to
dig a little deeper there?
Randy wants elaboration.
More techno.
Oh, sorry, wrong button. I'm done pushing buttons.
Mr. Pushy Buttons over there.
You already pushed them all.
So why is the 60s your favorite era?
I just liked the shapes. I liked what they had to offer. I don't know. I really can't.
I feel like they had a lot of muscle. Like they had a lot
Well,
of.
the 60s were the muscle car era, but
Well,
I mean,
understand
I
that, but-
loved prior to. I mean, I love Model Ts, Model A's, everything, but I think 60s were my favorite just because of when I was born. That's all.
Well, you were born.
We'll just skip that.
okay. Pete, how about yourself there?
And we're back. Pete, what's your favorite era?
Well, I guess if I got to narrow it down to an era, maybe in performance over looks.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
This is going to be stupid, but I'm going to say the 90s.
I knew it.
Yeah.
You like Friends, don't you?
Pussy.
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's all right, but it's not.
Don't even hit
crazy.
that side.
I mean, let's be.
Fucking Friends. Pivot.
Yeah.
Pivot.
Shut the fuck up. That was
Listen,
a
I've
great
told you to
show.
pivot how many
Settle down.
goddamn times.
Thank you,
you're like,
Melanie.
That is
This is
part of the
heavy.
reason why America's so fucked up.
Because of Friends?
Yes,
Get the fuck out of here.
exactly.
Are you saying people like
Friends was fucking great.
All I know.
wow.
Okay, Buzz.
Okay, we got
Moving
like
on.
5 more questions for fuck's sake.
So what's
Let's
the
go.
era? So yours is 90s. Let's go. Let's roll down the 90s fucking route.
I mean, yeah.
Which is who's the
You,
idiot?
you got the 4G63, you got the 2JZ, you got all the fucking.
the Ford what?
The Skylines.
The Ford what?
Oh, I
The
love
4G63.
Randy,
It's Ford
what was your favorite era?
G63.
What year?
I don't even know
Well,
what the fuck you're talking about.
Exactly.
But I'm-
Yours is 90s
No,
as
what's
well.
the Ford G63?
Go ahead.
No, but mine's not the 90s, but I do like the 90s, and I like some of the cars that he's cars and engines that
I
he's
drove a
listing off here.
91 Toyota Tercel. There ain't nothing fancy about that. It had pink and purple fucking
never
He
pinstripes.
said it
didn't
was
say
fancy. Take it
every
outside.
You
90s
fucking-
model.
He's not saying
He
every
said
90s model. But not every 60s model was great
But
either.
that's my argument.
No, but they were good.
Right. What, arguably, one of the best era of cars in existence is the 60s.
See? But
Boom. But it's probably not my favorite.
Boom.
well, fuck off, Randy. What's yours?
Boom.
I wanted to talk about what Pete had to say about the 90s cars.
Boom.
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 What is going on here?
Pow pow.
Pow. Tell us more, Randy.
Yeah, Randy.
Well, I like this. I like this guy. I like some of the Japanese cars of the
You're an
90s era.
idiot.
You got an R32, an R33, an R34.
Yeah, the
You've got all the 4G63s. You got
Look,
the
all I know
Supras.
The Beat-
is
the
if
Beats-
we're talking about foreign cars, yeah, the 90s were where it was at.
Okay. He was born in 2000. That's why he loves the 90s.
Who was?
Pete.
He was born in 2000? You're not even a 90s baby?
Apparently, that's what people say now. It's not true.
I don't even know.
Here's a good question, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait, Randy hasn't answered.
I thought he answered the last 25 fucking
No,
minutes.
because I was
He's
trying
like,
to.
been
I
defending
love the
me.
90s because
No.
Pete does, but the 60s were good, but I have stuff to say.
No, I just wanted to talk about. It's a part of automotive history, and that was just like the 60s, 70s, 80s, 80s. I could say the 80s, but we all hate the
Garbage.
80s because that was all
Emissions,
deep into the emissions
fuel,
era.
bullshit.
You know what? U.S. was robbed of some of the best Asian and European cars in history. We were robbed of. We couldn't have turbos until 2002.
Well, all you can say is thank you, California.
Yeah, which is bullshit. We have to wait 25 years until a car is considered a classic in the U.S. because in order to acquire any type of fun car,
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Obama.
Modern fun.
modern fun, yeah.
Modern
I'm
fun.
just saying modern fun,
What is really fun 25 years ago?
exactly what Pete was saying.
I can't remember
Listen.
what he even said.
I can appreciate the body and all that, but I can also appreciate 1,200 horsepower out of a 4-cylinder car.
That's neat.
It's a combustion
understand
engine
that.
that is
That's
tuned and
You
and built
asked-
for high horsepower.
you asked my preference,
Yeah.
and I would rather sink money into performance over looks. That's just the
Right.
way I am. You didn't ask what's the best. You
No, I
asked
just asked
what's
what-
my preference.
Right.
Everybody's going to have, somebody's going to say the 40s, 50s, 60s,
And-
70s, 80s, 90s, 2010s.
Anyways.
My favorite era of car is probably either going to be the 50s or 60s.
What's your favorite era?
My favorite era? I don't know. Because there's an argument.
If you could have one car, just one, what would it be?
No, don't ask me.
I don't
that
even know if I
question.
can
I
answer
just
that.
did.
Okay. If I could have one car, an era of car that I could customize and make, the 40s would be it. Because there's so much sleek that you could do in the 40s.
The body lines were incredible in the 40s.
Right.
Ooh, a
Or
Lincoln.
the 50s. The 50s. 40s, like, I got to take 2 generations up. I got to go from 40 to 50. Because
Not possible.
the 50s, you're talking about early Chevys. Like, I'm not talking 55, 56, 57 Chevy. I'm talking 52, 53 Chevys that you can take you can draw out that line the whole way to the ass end. And in the 40s, we're talking about the 40s fucking anything. The early 40s, anything where you can they compacted the car and they were able to draw out that fucking line from the front the whole way to the back
Put it down.
and create unbelievable lines.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't answer that question to an exact era.
Yeah.
If I want to do muscle, okay. If you want to talk patina,
it re-
anything pre-60,
It depends on what kind of car you're talking about.
yeah. If I want to build hot rods all day long, I want to build between 40 and 60,
Right.
40 and 59.
If I want to build a muscle car, obviously the 60s.
Well, yeah, there's no such thing as a muscle car pre-64, really.
See, I like the sleek lines of the Lincoln, the Cadillac.
63, 62.
Oh, hell yeah. Lay
Yeah.
it down,
Yeah.
drop it down.
They still had the suicide doors.
Yes.
I love that.
Beautiful.
The Plymouths, the Fords, the Chevys
Plymouth.
of early
I
50s,
got nothing.
late 40s. The 40 Ford,
40 Ford is
Yeah.
a staple of the 40s.
Those are great.
like 46 Ford, like that Ford that we watched get built years ago, if they would have just chopped and sectioned and moved some shit, that could have been beyond anything anybody imagined. But they left it all stock and it looked like a fucking turd building. Partially because it looked like it was brown. So
Like a Ford Probe.
yeah.
Where are we at? Probe. Oh, cripe.
Yeah.
Or that Thunderbird they came back with. What were they thinking?
What Thunderbird?
What was that? 2000.
I thought that
Four.
was kind of fine.
So that Ford and what's the other one? That pickup truck? That Chevy
The
pickup truck?
HHR.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
That was horrible.
That was the last ditch effort to be classic.
Mm-hmm.
The Prowler was one of the last ditch efforts ever.
I mean, obviously,
To be classic.
obviously being 2000 Chevy, it was kind of just plastic and round and whatever. And,
Right.
I
but-
didn't like the Thunderbird. I thought it was.
I thought the Thunderbird gave it was close to like the very last era
Yeah.
of the Thunderbird. Not the 80s Thunderbird.
No. The 50s Thunderbird. 55. 55 Thunderbird.
Right.
Really nice.
I like Fords, so, but I didn't like that.
I thought they had a good effort at trying to bring it back.
They did. As far as modern design, like what the fuck are you like? If I was designing a new car, what in the fuck are you thinking? Like if you tried to make a design old school to new school, what are you thinking? Like just take all the lines and bring it in. Like don't take all the lines and then like soften them extremely.
Well, that was mid 2000s. They tried to soften everything. The Impala, the Camaro, maybe.
Next question.
Next question. All right. Okay, here we go. Would you guys rather have a custom car like we build here at IBF Hot Rods or an all organic classic?
Custom cars.
Pete?
It's got to be custom. Why? Because I want 800 horsepower, air conditioning,
Tim Allen, Q.
and goddamn electric windows. I mean, it's simple.
Resto.
I want all the, yeah, exactly. I want all the creature comforts
Resto mod.
with the power, with everything involved. Simple. How do you like them apples?
That's a good answer. So, what are some of the things that you guys have learned from being around IBF Hot Rods and witnessing how classic cars are restored and customized that you might?
I'll like to yield my time to Melanie.
No, carry on, Pete. You've been out there a lot more than me.
Nah,
'cause
Get the fuck out of here.
I think you guys take pride in your work. I think you give the customer what they want. And if they don't realize the safety aspects, you show them. I just think you guys make people happy.
That's what we're here for. Happy. Happy.
settle down.
Pete, what about you?
So, I guess what I've learned is attention to detail,
Amen.
which, I mean, doesn't have to be panel gaps. It's symmetry from left to right, front to back.
Fuck yeah.
You know, it's
Bam, 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 bam.
it's all the little
Let's go.
it's all the little shit that makes a difference in the long run. You know, it's stop cutting corners, do it right the first time, and be done with it. You know, there's no sense in, you know, I kind of equate it back to buy once, cry once.
Yep.
Let's do it right the first time instead of trying to find a cheaper option
Hell yeah.
and saying, well, this is cheap. This is going to save me $400 in the long run. But yet I spend $700 to save $400, and then I have to turn around and spend another $1,100
Yeah.
over top of what I already spent to make it right.
Hey, Pete, would you have IBF Hot Rods build you something?
No. I'd cook food and make them come over and build my own shit.
I will barbecue we
Yeah.
will trade time.
I'll throw some tri-tip on the grill
Ah, fuck no, he's hitting my soul.
and make them all come over here.
But you would recommend them.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah, me too.
Well, the funny thing is,
Because
Every
it's going to be
Every
it's going to
day.
be done right at the end.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm looking for.
And it might not be what the customer wants as far as
But it's what they need.
it is. They look at safety, they look at detail, they look at
It's
everything.
It's done right. At the
Yeah.
end of the day,
And everybody's happy.
you know, whether you want to cut corners or not, you know, okay, we can save you some money here and there, but this is what has to be done.
Yeah, the shit they do is amazing.
So whether it's suspension, brakes,
Built floor
Body,
pans, everything.
you know,
it's
whatever, but
amazing.
it's going to be done properly the first time instead of the second or third time.
Well, it might be the first time or second time, but they still learn by it and they make it right. And they will not give it to them unless it's right.
Right.
I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of everything that you've done.
I feel good about what we do. You know, even if there's some waves in the fucking ocean, I still feel good about it because it has to be done
Right.
It has to be done to a level that's going to be safe. Safety has to be the top priority. And then it just, trickles down from there. Is how I feel about it.
Can't cross the ocean with holes in your ship.
That's right. That's right.
Unless you had a big toe to plug the hole.
Yeah. Randy's got a big toe.
I'm going to leave that there.
So, all right. Last question we got for you guys. How has your perspective on classic car restoration and customization changed since you guys have been involved with IBF Hot Rods?
Obviously, I've done the backyard mechanic type stuff. I've done the save money yet make it better type thing. But it's let's do the best work we can for the value. You guys are doing kind of a return on investment type thing, where it's, yes, we can do it for $2,000, but if we can cut that down to 17, 18, whatever it is, and make it worthwhile, you guys are willing to do that. So it's, we can do more with less type mentality, where if we don't have to sell you a $5,000 part, we're not going to. We're going to make $2,000 work and give you the $5,000 performance. Where your cost benefit analysis, is kind of a business mentality thing going. You're spending less for more.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what I respect about it. Is that, nobody has, well, at least 99% of the country doesn't have the money to spend on bullshit. And you're going to give them $5,000 job for as cheap as you can.
Yeah.
And I can respect that as a consumer. That's just the way I think. What's the best bang for my buck? And that's what you guys are doing. And that's what I can see from just showing up to a random day and, hey, what's going on? Well, we did this and we did this, and whether it's spend a little more on your guys' end, but you're not going to pass that, and kind of screw over your guys' customer to make an extra $1. You're going to make sure it's right the first time and call it a day. That's as simple as it is.
Yeah. It is as simple as it is.
That was a good answer there.
Fucking ain't right. But that's what we pride ourselves on, is fucking doing that, is to do it right the first time. I mean, how many times do we do videos and shit that's like, we can fuck around and we can do shit and cut corners, or we can do it this way and do it the right fucking way.
You guys can cut corners without making it a problem.
Yeah. Like,
it's you can save money. You can make it to the point where you're not just blowing money on something stupid. Like, yeah, you guys take some time to think through this shit. And as much as people want to complain about it, if I pay you 20 minutes to think about something, or an hour to execute, say that didn't work, fix it, execute again, that didn't work, fix it, execute again. It takes 3 times, 4 times, 5 times the money, the process, to get to the same goal.
right.
So that's what I can appreciate about what I see, day to day, week to week out there.
I feel like when we do shit, we try to think about everything and the value for the buck, I guess.
Yeah.
And even though Randy's here, I still feel like we're doing things productive.
Is that a joke?
I was just making sure you were paying attention, Randy.
I
Poorly
appreciate
executed joke.
that you do it for not the money. By no means. You guys do it because you're passionate. You're passionate about this.
Or angry.
Yeah, no, you're passionate about this. You do this because it's right. It's the way to go. You guys look at every aspect of everything before you implement it. And I think the customer appreciates that. You guys aren't doing this to get rich, by all means, for Pete's sake, or Elliot's sake, or Randy's sake. You do this because you love it.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that's why we're all here. We're all sitting here, So
That's how I feel about it.
yeah,
I mean, the whole reason we started IBF Hot Rods is because we fucking love it, and we're trying not to fucking rip people off.
Well, that's why we do the videos and the hear podcast episodes and everything like that, is to show people that it's not all about just taking advantage of people.
Yeah.
And
Let me say it. It's all about the bill.
oh, there it is. There it is. And with that,
It's all about the build. So, I mean, to bring everything around and to finish this episode off, like, I love the fact that we were able to bring Pete on, and we bring my wife on finally. We've been wanting to bring her on since fucking day fucking one.
Oh, yeah.
For shit's sake. And so is there any way anybody that wants to follow you guys, is there anywhere that they can follow you at? You guys got a social media? Instagram,
Not a chance in hell.
TikTok? Well, we're not talking about you, Pete.
Oh, sorry.
No, I don't want any followers. Just follow my husband and his team.
I keep off the internet.
IBF Hot Rods.
IBF Hot Rods. So if you want to follow any of us, Pete comes in
Follow
every
their
once in a while.
passion. Follow their love. Follow their drive for what they do.
Yeah, IBFHotRods.com website.
It's all about the build, bitches.
IBF Hot Rods. It's all about the build. Yeah, that's right, bitches. Yeah. That's right.
Stay tuned for future episodes.
That's right. So I hope you
We
guys.
might be here. We might not.
We
Yeah.
probably won't be invited.
No,
back.
enough with that crap. You're
Yeah.
gonna be here in future
Yeah,
episodes.
we're good. Yeah.
You're not gonna be
Don't
on the
tell
one
me
and
what to
done.
do, Randy.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If I can cut out half of what the shenanigans were, it's going to be a good episode. And if you think the shenanigans haven't been dropped too much, I don't know what to tell you. There's just too much editing to go on. So,
Stay tuned.
Thank you all for joining in with us. And
thank you, Pete. Thank you, baby.
Ooh, love ya.
We're gonna
Sometimes I hope.
bring her in more often. And
Oh,
as,
fuck
When
me,
I
right?
don't
always,
have to go to work.
as always, Randy, me and Randy always in this son of a bitch together.
I'll see you guys next episode.
We will
that's
see
sure.
you guys next episode. And until then, ladies and gentlemen,
Thanks so much for tuning in.
cheers. Here's to you guys.
Thanks for listening to this episode of It's All About the Build podcast. Please comment and let us know your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel to follow along, and if you haven't already, check out our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok to keep up with what we have going on every week. Thank you all for listening.